Hi, I'm Mack, and I'm on a mission to see the hurting get healed and the healed go out and heal others, in order for all of us to experience the true love and light we desire. This podcast is me sharing my journey with you, so you don't feel alone in your journey. Welcome to the Golden Rule Revolution. My brothers and sisters, welcome back to another episode of the Golden Rule Revolution. I am Mack, and today I'm so excited to bring to you my dear sister, Nouran Ahmed. She is such a brilliant and beautiful soul, and she talks about growing up in an Islamist home, breaking away from that dogma of religion and do's and don'ts, rights and wrongs, and finding truth for herself, and how plant medicine has helped her expand her consciousness and her awareness. And I really think you're going to find this episode relatable in your own journey, wherever you are right now around the world. I send you blessings of love and light, peace and joy, goodness and truth, that we all may be free and walk in the divine nature that we are intended to from the very beginning. We are entering the Great Awakening, and my dear sister shares her story of awakening so that all of us can awaken more. Welcome to the Golden Rule Revolution. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Golden Rule Revolution. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. So wonderful to be here. So honored. So excited to talk to you, get to know you.
Oh, that's so great. I don't always have first conversations recorded for the world to hear, but I figured this is a good one for you and I to talk. And
we'll just let it all out and see what comes out.
That's right. That's right. So everyone listening, Nouran and I connected on Instagram. I've met so many beautiful souls through Instagram. And first of all, I'm so excited for you and your journey, and you've done some really cool things recently that I want to hear about. But before we even get into the present day, tell me about you and where did you grow up?
So I was born and raised in Egypt. I was born in Cairo, and we moved here in 2000. I was 11 years old. When we first moved, we lived in Fort Erie, and it was really hard because we moved in like February. We've never seen snow before or experienced that type of weather. So yeah, it was quite the shock, to be honest with you. Like coming from a place where you're so close with your family. Like we lived in my grandpa's building when my grandma was there, my aunt, my uncle, all my cousins, and we just kind of came here and it was like, okay, well, now you're Port Erie. Welcome to the Canadian winter. And now I moved to Toronto about 10 years ago. Started my journey here after. It was kind of bittersweet because of the process that led me to coming to Toronto. And it was kind of me wanting to leave my culture behind, wanting to leave my religion behind. And I got caught up in a lot of things that when I look at them now, I don't regret them because they were a part of who I am today and a part of why I am on the path that I'm on today. So I'm very, very grateful for it. But it was a long learning experience for sure.
Did you grow up in a very strict Islamic household? And first of all, even what was going on in Egypt at the time that led your family to move to Canada?
It was a few things. Like I think my dad, he always wanted a better future for us. He wanted us, not that we didn't, we went to really good schools and we had a really, really good life there. But his vision for us was, to be able to travel the world and to be able to learn English, as we speak right now. And he wanted to live somewhere where, when he can go to sleep one night and wake up the next morning and be like, okay, there's a new law that is going to take away your business, or it's going to take away, your apartment. And it was just so it was always, things were always on edge there. You never knew what you were gonna get. And obviously, I'm sure things are a little bit different now, but at that time, just the freedom is not the same. It's kind of hard to say now with everything that's going on, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird. It's like when we, backtrack to here and
Right.
during this time. But
Right.
yeah, that was the main reason why we moved to Canada for a better future.
And then what about you in your personal journey with your religious desires and upbringing and your spiritual calling, and actually it sounds like just the freedom was beckoning you forth, right?
Yeah, I think, all my life I just had a hard time understanding why I had to be why my life was chosen for me, why my thoughts were chosen for me, why do I need to follow certain rules to be a good person, or why I need to do this to be considered a good woman. And that feeling of suffocation has just led me to want to break free of everything and just start thinking for myself a little bit. And to be honest with you, that really started happening this year.
Mm.
And how it all happened it was not expected. I was always interested in spirituality and meditation, but the life that I chose in Toronto, when I moved from Niagara Falls to Toronto, and I left my parents' house, and that life was just me doing everything I could that I wasn't allowed to do. So that led me to partying, working in the nightlife industry, doing drugs, drinking, and just kind of doing everything that I can to kind of give myself that feeling that, okay, I'm not stuck in these rules anymore. I'm not stuck in this environment anymore. And this year, I was working for Air Canada as a flight attendant, and I got laid off in March. And I would say around November, December, I was watching one of my friend's stories on Instagram, and he was always just posting about a certain president that that I was like, how can he say that? How is he supporting this guy? And and this is someone that I know, and I love this guy. Like he's such an awesome friend. And I was really just full on judging him every single day, just watching his posts and getting triggered and like, oh my God, he doesn't know anything. How can he say this? And I got really angry, but I messaged him and I asked him, and I was like, what's going on here? Like, why are you posting this stuff? Can you tell me a little bit more? And he sent me like probably 2 pages of articles to read. And I looked at it and I was like, that's not for me right now. I don't know what he's talking about. It was just a lot of information that wasn't resonating with me at that time. So fast forward to March when I got laid off, and I had a lot of time. And the point that I was at in March was I was really lazy. I didn't have a morning routine. I was feeling like, when you just spiral down to the bottom of the bottom and you just can't go any lower than this of how you're feeling every single day. Just waking up feeling drained, feeling no energy, feeling no motivation, kind of like putting yourself in a container of where your future is going to be. Like my thoughts at that time was, okay, I'm going to stay with Air Canada till I'm 50 or 55 and then, retire and then one day I started thinking about all these things, and it just kind of really overwhelmed me because I started to realize that freedom that I've been craving my entire life is the complete opposite of everything that's in my life right now.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was, and then another friend, this was posting something else again about a certain somebody. And I was like, hey man, like, can you tell me a little bit, just like, short form, like what's going on? And then he's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to send you a documentary. And he sent me Fall of Cabal.
Yeah.
And I watched that and I could not sleep for days after because it really opened up my eyes. And at that time, I was ready to receive that information. I was really ready to receive that information. And I just, I became obsessed with one thing. What can I do to help? What
Mm.
can I do to help? What can I do to help? How can I make a difference right now? And that led me to realize that if you are, I'm getting goosebumps,
Mm.
if you want to make a change in the world, you have to start by raising your own vibration and bringing all that energy right back to you, looking inside yourself, realizing where you are, realizing what you need to heal, and kind of like to stop running away from yourself. You
Mm.
know, stop hiding from your shadows, stop hiding from the world, start to shine that light that is inside I strongly believe, and I know deep in my heart, that's inside of every single person,
Yes.
no matter who you are or what you believe. We're all one. We are all one. We all come from the same source. We all come from the same consciousness. And that that's the truth.
Yes.
That is the only, like, to me, this is the truth. And when all that stuff started to kind of click in my mind a little bit, everything, and then so that led me to start learning about microdosing mushrooms.
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
it went hand in hand, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It really did go hand in hand, because
Yes.
microdosing mushrooms, I've never done mushrooms before. And even when I started microdosing, I didn't do like a full dose, I guess,
Yes.
for a while, for months after that. But microdosing mushrooms started to, I, if I can explain it in any way, I started to feel like there was like a twinkle going on in my head. There was like a
Mhm.
little light that was just like, okay, let's dig a little deeper. Let's read a little more. Let's give time to things. Let's not get frustrated with things. Because before, obviously, we all have certain beliefs that we believe about ourselves or to be who we are. So one of my beliefs about myself was, I don't know how to do research.
Mm.
I don't know, I don't have the ability to sit down and read a book and finish a book. These are all beliefs that I had about myself.
Wow.
And all those beliefs, they kept me stuck in a place where no growth was going to happen, no change was going to happen. So slowly, my best friend, her name is Steph Cabrera. She's been my rock since I met her back in 2016,
Mm.
and she never gave up on believing in me, because she would always say, okay, Nouran, like, just start by your morning routine, add a little meditation, start working out. And I'm always up and down with working out, but I started to look at working out as, I am serving my body. I'm serving myself by being healthy, by being conscious of the things that I eat, by being conscious of what I drink, what I ingest, what type of skin products that I'm using. like,
Yeah.
you know, so yeah, it just kind of started kind of, the ball just kind of started rolling on its own. And the more that I opened up myself to it, the more started to happen on its own. And then I had like this insane experience that I'm still don't know what to call it. I'm pretty sure it was like an out of body experience, but it was just, I kept questioning it for so long, because it was so unbelievable to me to experience something like this completely sober, just at home, chilling, not do
Yeah.
just by myself. And I was laying down one night, and I just started feeling this pressure in my heart. And as I closed my eyes and opened up myself to it, this pressure kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And it felt like I wasn't even, it was like my consciousness was the only thing that was there. It was me, but it wasn't me as my body, as my face, as what I believed to know that I am. And I heard this voice, and I can't describe it. It wasn't my voice. It wasn't a man. It wasn't like a woman. It was just a voice that was there. And that voice, like, it wasn't a voice like someone talking. It was a feeling
Mhm.
that I just understood.
Yes.
And that feeling, and the voice, they just kept saying, believe in yourself. There are no fear. There is no fear. There's no fear. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. But every time I heard it, it got really, really deep, to the point that my heart, I swear to God, like felt like it exploded. It was so strong. And it was coming out of it. It took me like a good 5-10 minutes to just be like, oh my God, what just happened?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was insane. And to this day, like, I'm so appreciative, because I know that this energy is there for us to all tap into.
Yes.
It's there,
Yes.
you know? And there's no there's no one that's better than the other person. And I think that's what a lot of people right now have like a misconception about. Just because somebody is expressing those things, and I'm saying this based on a few experiences a lot of experience actually that I've been having on Instagram with the things that I post and I
Mm.
share. And people coming at you like, oh, you think you're better than me? No, no, it's not about being better or knowing. We all have that knowing.
Right.
It's just a matter of choice, whether are you going to choose to go forward with this or not. And regardless, to me, I just don't see the world as a separation anymore. We're all moving together. We're
Yes.
all moving towards that love together. We're
Yes.
all, right now it's just it's a weird stage of like, I even hate saying, like, are you going to wake up or not? But like, are you choosing to surrender to the love and to the oneness and to the unity
Yes.
that's in this world? Or maybe you're not there yet, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a race.
It's not, and there's so many beautiful things you've just said. For instance, or just say, for instance, in my own head, I had all these points in my head. For instance, when I post content, and I'll sit and I get clear on what am I supposed to share, and then something comes through, I write it out, I put in a little meme, and I post on Instagram. People that I know that I'll look at their profiles too, because I'm always tracking like, well, who's engaging with this type of content? People that follow very, awoke. What I don't even mean truth
Right.
accounts, right? Truth accounts, and then people that are not following those accounts, maybe the opposite of them, like my content. And one of the things, I'm a hardcore truther. However,
I love it. I'm
I
here for it.
don't. But I feel like my calling. I feel like God has told me to stay in love and light, to stay in love and light. And so my purpose and mission has been to keep giving this narrative of love and light, and it's been interesting to see and beautiful to see people on both quote unquote sides liking the same content, saying, affirming the same message, but from their own perspective that they're seeing, which tells me that we are a breath away. We are the thinnest veiled moment away from everyone no longer being separate, because we are craving, and I know you don't want to say his name, but I'll say it. I'll say it.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Donald Trump. We are going to wake up very soon in this world and see that what we've been told is evil was actually good, and what we were told was good is actually evil. We're going to see that up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. We're going to see everything get reversed here very soon. And this isn't a pro-Trump. People, you don't have to like Trump. What I'm sharing with the audience is that why is it continually perpetuated for you to hate this man?
Exactly.
That's the energy you need to wake up for. That's the energy you need to like unplug from, because it's eating your energy. It's eating your own life force, your own vitality. There's so much visceral hatred towards the wrong source. The wrong source of hatred, my dear friends listening, as someone who's been violated, abused, grown up in a heinous house, the real visceral reactions you should have constantly are the child abusers, the domestic abusers, the religious authorities that cloak all this vile acts against humanity and put this facade and veneer of holiness. That's where your energy should be directed constantly so that these souls can be liberated, not at this man who for not even 4 years has never even really had the full opportunity to be the president, because it's just been constant subversion, constant attack, constant this, constant that. And when people wake, pretty soon, like Saudi Arabia did the sword dance for Donald Trump. Everyone look up what the sword dance means in Saudi Arabia and just look it up. And they did that for him. Look up why he sat on Winston Churchill's chair. And the media said, oh, he doesn't have decorum. No. Look up what it actually meant. Look these things up versus having so much energy towards hate. How about awaken to why? And why is this constantly barrage of vitriolic media getting pushed upon us so densely? It's so dense. It's so low vibration that people are wondering why they're on, antidepressants and any form of, and this is not a judgment on that. It's just a understanding, why do people not feel whole in themselves, light in themselves, love in themselves, goodness in themselves? And I guarantee that the majority of unhappy people are still tied to the form of unhealthy parenting that they have trying to break away from, yet to fully fulfill in themselves the unconditional love that they're seeking, finding, like you're saying, all these other, love, freedom. Yes. And truly I understand like that. Like I would give everything to be free, but free to be in love. Mm-hmm. Like that's it. It's just free to be. I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to do or say. I don't have to look like anything. I can just know, wow, we are in this place. And that's the beauty of it. So anyway, you sparked that. There's another thing. Oh, anyone listening, the fall of the cabal, go on BitChute. I didn't even know what BitChute was until 2020. Go on BitChute. YouTube took it down and watch it. It's a 10-part series. There's now the sequel to the fall of the cabal. She just released 5 episodes of that. It's not even about, this is what's so interesting. My sweet sister, by the way, it's so good to have you on.
Thank you so much. Cool. Thank you, Lucas.
It's not even about agreement. This is the thing that humanity has forgotten. I don't have to agree. I've read the Quran. I've read the Satanic Bible. I've read the Bhagavad Gita. I have all the different Bible versions. I have all sorts of texts that I've read. It's just not about like, well, I'm going to read things I agree. I may or may not. That's not the point. I want to know what information is out there so that, one, I can relate to another person who has read that information and not judge them already of they're right or wrong. I want to know what is the most orthodox Islamist believe. Okay. If I don't know, how can I talk to them? What is the most orthodox Jew? Like my family's Jewish. What do the Orthodox, the Hasidic believe? Okay, I want to know, how can I talk to them if I don't know what they believe? Or the Jesuits or the Satanists or any groupings, the monks. Information is just neutral. And we have forgotten that it's our sovereign right to know. And those who keep us from knowing, keep us from freedom, keep us from love, keep us from connection with one another. Because one of the things I've learned very on, if I grew up in your shoes, would I be any different than you? And if you grew up in my shoes, would you be any different than me? No. I can never judge another human being, even when their actions are worthy of consequence. Certainly there's action worthy of eliminating people off this planet because their behaviors are no longer vibe with where we're going.
Exactly.
But if I grew up in their shoes, I'd probably be the exact same way as they are. So I don't know, I'm just sharing that all the censorship and all the
Yeah.
anti-information that's so crazy. It's like, no,
Right.
more information, more communication, more.
Yeah. And then when you like when people start to realize the censorship is just there to push one narrative.
Yes.
How is this truth? How is this freedom?
Right.
And when you like, I've never, to be honest with you, and this is something me and my dad fought about all the time when I was younger. He's like, why don't you watch the news and educate yourself? And I'm like, and I didn't know why when I was younger, why I didn't like watching the news, why it didn't resonate with me. And now I understand it's because something inside of me just knows that
Mm,
this isn't the truth.
yeah.
And your truth, whatever you perceive in your reality, whatever your truth is true to you. So even sometimes when people come to me wanting to argue about about my truth or whatever
Yeah.
I feel like I want to post or I want to say, I say, I honor your truth. I honor your truth. It's like me wearing red sunglasses and they're wearing whatever purple sunglasses, and I'm saying, see the color that I'm seeing. It's like, no, I'm seeing one thing,
Right.
you're seeing another thing.
That's right.
And, being in different realities or dimensions, it just is. It's
Mhm.
not, I'm here and you're here or at the opposite. It just is. It just is. And the more you connect with yourself, the more that you're going to have the choice, and the more that you connect to the source within you and within the universe or God or whatever you believe in, this will allow you to have a choice to take off those sunglasses and put on a different type of sunglasses to see something new. And to be able to see, this is something I struggled with a little bit too at the beginning of my spiritual journey, was what is it to see with your third eye? What does that mean to see with your third eye? Am I gonna start seeing things in
Right.
my head?
Right.
And it's really simple. Seeing with your third eye, just removing that energetic veil
Mm,
that has been put there for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, because we have been conditioned to be so far away from that source within us that that part of you just isn't working yet, or isn't, you're not tapped into it yet. And seeing with your third eye is starting to realize the changes that you're making. How are you reacting to things?
mm,
What does it mean to you? Are you saying, oh, I'm woke, but yet you're still judging people that are not seeing the same reality as you?
right.
Because that's still judgment. Judgment is judgment. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's just judgment. And are you being compassionate? Are you being empathetic? Because if you want to hold that energy, you need to be that energy. You have to practice it every single day. And at the same time, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, but we are having the human experience. So people need, and people need to really, really like realize that, sometimes we are going to react in a certain way. We're going to have certain negative thoughts, but it's all about what you take from that, or how are you approaching. Are you getting better at changing your reactions, or are you getting better at the way that you're looking at things? So it's a work in progress, to be honest with you. It really never ends. And you can't rush it, and you can't push it on someone. And
That's
I've learned that you can't push it on someone. I really learned the hard way,
yes.
because that
Yeah.
is something that I really needed. I needed to sit there and think about a few times, because obviously when you go through a spiritual journey, and I like my partner, I love him to death, Mark, if you're
Mm,
watching, hi. And it's really difficult at the beginning, because you are getting to know yourself and your partner is getting to know you. So if you're going to constantly be attacking and pushing those views on someone, no, you got to see it this way, why are you taking it personally, blah, 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 then you're not planting a seed. We are here to feel the love and give the love and be the love, and just immerse ourselves in that
yes.
love
To
so
bathe
much.
in it. Yes.
Bathe in it,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
And that's how you plant seeds. You plant seeds by giving people the option to choose. You
Mm,
can say, here's something, take it or leave it. It's up to you. And you have to understand that sometimes people may take things personally depending on their level of awareness.
yeah.
But you have a responsibility, be knowing that knowledge and reading about all these things, not to take things personally.
Right.
And to allow everyone a choice. We have a choice. We all have a choice on this planet.
Yes.
So we can't be judging people or pushing certain things on someone, or saying only my way is right, because then we're really just the same problem that we are looking at.
Yeah.
So
That's right. We're create. Yeah. It's creating that which we're trying to
yeah,
remove. Yeah,
remove,
exactly.
exactly.
It's it's beautiful to hear your journey, especially I think coming from such a strict religious household, because it doesn't matter if it's Islam or Judaism or Christianity, or even Bijal that I was mentioning, who lives in Toronto, come from a really strict sect of Hinduism. And um this is what I love, is all of us coming together, and I hope being an example to the world of leaving these forms that had some truth to them, but the truth was only presented to keep us bound. But when we leave those forms and actually enter the realm of love and light, truth and freedom, sovereignty, we look back and like, there are no lines. That's the oneness. There is literally nothing that separates you and I right now. Like, I feel like I could hug you even though we are 3,500 miles away, 3 time zones apart, but you and I are one right now talking.
Exactly.
It's so beautiful.
It is. It is. And this year, to be honest with you, like being in Canada, I've had a really hard time having good friends. It took me a really long time to be able to meet somebody and to have a friend that I can call a friend. And I met my first like real friend 10 years ago, and then my other friend Steph, I met her about eight years ago now. But this year, I feel like I have made so many friends
Yes.
all over the world, because just, we all want the same unity and oneness together. And this is what brings that together. And when you radiate in that energy, you don't even have to work at who you're going to attract, because that energy just attracts that energy, and it comes from all places, all cities, all countries. So it's such a beautiful thing. It really is.
It's interesting that my perspective is there's been a lot more um, female females that have spoken up and risen up, and even me, like, I'm not full truther, and the accounts I share truth, but not, not the particulars of waking people up, quote unquote. But it's interesting that I think because Mother Earth is ascending and rising, that nurturing presence, the earth is holding space. So I think it's really beautiful to see women's voice be clear and be that connectivity and invitation, while the divine masculine is basically putting his arms around everyone and just bringing us in for that hug. I see the manifestation of that in you and so many others. Like, I was, oh, you got to meet this person. Well, they're all beautiful female presence. And
Mhm.
not that there's not guys, Chris and many that I've had on the podcast, but
Yeah.
I think it's really beautiful that the earth is healing. We're all healing, and women with that divine feminine are holding space
Yes.
And it's not coming with that masculine, that unhealthy masculine of right or wrong, do or don't, obey, or, you know, that type of thing. So I don't know, just I'm sharing that, and I'm just seeing you and being connected, and it's beautiful. It really is beautiful.
Thank you.
So let's tell me a little bit more about growing up in an Islamic house, as far as your were just the worldview of drugs or talking to people outside the faith, or it, like, what was that? What was the suffocating environment that you were in from your perspective?
I think from my perspective, it was more so the just all the rules, like,
Mm.
you know, you can't go out and be outside so late. You cannot drink. You know, you have to dress a certain way. You have to think a certain way. You have to pray that many or that those many times a day. And that fear of death, to be honest with you. And I'm not sure if that was something that I just perceived it that way, because like my grandpa, he was a sheikh in at the mosque, and I remember when I was younger, I used to go pray with him all the time, spend time at the mosque, but I just wasn't. I was really young, and I wasn't sure why I was doing this. And
Mm.
that doesn't say that, you know, I don't believe in God. I do
Yeah.
believe in God. I do believe in, you know,
Yeah.
I do believe in there are a lot of beautiful teachings in the Islamic religion. And I really think, you know, a lot of people take things out of context, and that's not really what it is.
Yeah.
But for me, the pressure that I was under to, if I want to have a partner, then I needed to get engaged and get married. And it was
Mm.
just like, why? You
Mm.
know, why can I, and why do I have to be with somebody that is Muslim?
Yeah.
Why is that separation is what really drove me nuts.
Mm.
I wanted to get away, as far away as I could from it, because I didn't agree with those things, because at a very young age, I never, I don't look at somebody and be like, okay, he's Christian or he's Jewish, or
Yeah.
it's just a person.
Right.
And the connection between two people should be, you know, the love that they feel for each other, the type of compatibility that they have together.
Yes.
So it was, yeah, it was that. And on top of everything else of just not, you know, not being able to stay out late and becoming a teenager here, and just, you know, not having my freedom to do what I wanted,
Mm.
to have trust from my parents as well, because it always felt like, even if I wasn't doing something wrong, I was doing something wrong.
Mm.
And the only way I did something right was on their terms, not my terms. So it was, yeah, I have a hard time following rules,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's beautiful, and thank you for sharing. I think
yeah,
a lot of people, doesn't matter what religion they are raised in, can resonate with that,
yeah,
whether it's Christian, Jewish. I mean, Hindu. There's these rules, and these rules say you're in or you're out, and you
definitely.
better be in, because if you're not in, consequences are eternal. And you're like, well, but you know, like,
Yeah, like I don't want to go to hell. Like,
yeah, I
what
don't
the
want to go to
sounds
hell.
like?
But don't worry, God is love. Wait, what? How does this
Oh, I
work?
know. And
It's
you know that, like, that feeling not to go into, or maybe I'll go into the
yeah,
DMT
go for it.
experience.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. But we shouldn't fear death.
No.
And that's something that I really, up until I had my DMT experience, is something
Mm.
that I feared a lot. I don't know if it's just something I do, but I think about it a lot. I'm always wondering, okay, what's going to come next? What is there? Is there something? Is there not something? Is this hell thing real? Is it not real? And I'm terrified. And
Mm.
it's so crazy, because I've never actually shared this with anybody, but sometimes I'll be in a car and I'm literally imagining, how am I going to die? Or am I going to get into a car accident? And this could give me so much anxiety.
Mm.
all the time, because it's something that I constantly feel about. I always have this fear of like being, I'm not sure if maybe this happened in a past life, if,
Yep. Yep.
believe that kind of thing. I
Mhm.
personally do.
Yeah.
And, it's just really weird. I'm always afraid of dying.
Mm.
And it really could overtake my thoughts to a point that I drive myself crazy. So when I had my my DMT experience, which was incredible, and I'm so lucky, I went in without having any expectations, because I tried not to do, not try, I tried not to listen to other people's experiences, just
Mhm.
so I don't put any limitations on,
Expectations or yeah. Yep.
yeah, on what's going to happen. And so I got a chance to do it twice during the ceremony. The first time, uh, and whatever I share is honestly probably like 5% of what really happened, because you can't put
Totally.
it into, like, you can't put it into words.
Right.
It just kind of felt like I was blasted off into infinite space,
Mm.
and there were all these perfect geometrical shapes that were dancing together but separately at the same time.
Mm.
And I became the observer of that experience. And it felt like all these experiencing were happening together, but they were doorways into different dimensions. There was more. There was more into it. It felt like door, if I can put it in words, it felt like doors, different doors, but they were all one but separate at the same time.
Mm.
So I came out of that, and obviously the feelings that I had were just no fear,
Yeah.
no fear.
Yeah.
Fear does not exist. And if you dig under fear, there is only love.
That's
There
right.
is only love.
Yes.
So once you get past that fear, you are going to find a beautiful, peaceful place of love and serenity and surrendering.
Yes.
And so I came out of that experience, which also time doesn't exist at all.
Right.
Like the concept of time, it's really hard to explain unless you experience it. I think I heard that you did ayahuasca, so you probably
Yep.
know what I'm
Yep.
talking about.
Yep.
Time just doesn't exist in that world. You don't even like. There's no time.
There's no time. Time is a created thing. I've always said this even before all my
Yeah,
plant medicine journey is time is a created thing for this dimension. It's not, God is outside of time. God created time. So therefore God is not delegated to living in time. It's a thing just like we're a thing in the creation of all that is.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and when you realize that this time doesn't exist, you truly start to realize how infinite you are.
Hmm.
Because that energy that I experienced, and I'll share. Actually, I'll tell you about the second experience first, and then I'll talk a little bit more about that. But the second experience that I had, it was oh my god,
Hmm.
just so beautiful. It was. I went into this geometrical shapes that were dancing, and I started singing. I
Hmm.
started singing, "There's only love, there's only love, there's only
Hmm.
love." And every time I said it, I went
Hmm.
deeper in the love. And then I just started screaming, "Love, love,
Hmm.
love." And every time I said it, the experience it wasn't showing me, because I wasn't just the observer this time. I was the consciousness of the experience itself. And all my senses weren't put, they weren't separate from each other. They were all together as one.
Hmm.
So all the senses, the vision, the hearing, the smell, the taste, everything. And it's weird because I can still taste what the smoke tasted like. And yeah, we just kept getting deeper, and it was an experience of love. It was an experience of complete surrender. And I remember right before, I had my eyes closed, by the way, right before the experience was coming to an end, I knew that I have there. I couldn't go any deeper at this moment, and I knew that. And then I flung off my mask, and at that time I was kind of in and out of it. So I had my eyes open, and to have your eyes open and closed is completely, you know, I don't want to put anything in anybody's head, but for me, anyways, it was really different. Because at that moment, there was a fan in the ceiling, and I looked at the fan, and to be able to see that everything is alive, even a fan,
Yeah. Yes.
is just,
Yes.
you know.
Okay. I have a. I have to share my first psilocybin ceremony that I sat in. I had 2 times I was told, "Oh, I forgot." It was this like as if I was having a conversation with someone or something, but I don't recall prior to me saying, "Oh, I forgot."
Mhm.
And what I forgot were 2 different things. Well, the first thing I forgot was every molecule, this microphone, the camera molecule, all these molecules, this body, they're all made of the same molecules. And these molecules sacrifice themselves to be this in service for us.
Yes,
And I
exactly.
forgot to thank them. I was just,
Wow.
oh, I forgot to thank you because they are alive. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Jesus said this verse, he said, if you don't worship me, if you don't cry out and worship me. Now, what is Jesus? This whole religious Yeshua means in love. It means
Mhm.
to be in love. Yeshua is in love. So if you don't cry out love, he said the rocks will. And I was thought that's such a fascinating, like a rock, the rocks will, but rocks are alive.
Yeah.
Everything is alive.
Exactly. Exactly. Everything in this universe is alive.
So think of this, death does not exist. There
Exactly.
is no such thing. There is no such thing as death. There's just changing forms in life.
Exactly. That energy, it cannot be destroyed.
It
Like
can be destroyed, right?
it can't be destroyed. And I really, I felt it, and I know now, and that now my fear of death is completely demolished. Like it doesn't even exist anymore. I'm not afraid. I don't want to say this in a weird way, but like it's something that I'm excited to experience when the time arises. There's nothing to fear here. There's nothing to fear. This is an experience, and I'm sure we're going to have many, 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 many more experiences. And our time on this planet is for us to remember who we are. And I always used to ask myself a question: what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And I realized this is my ego asking this question, because being alive, this is your purpose. You're choosing to be here. That breath you're taking every single day, that's your purpose to be here. You don't have to. No, I'm not saying not to strive and to succeed and to go after your dreams. Of course, that's wonderful. But just being here is enough.
Yes. Yes.
So
So beautiful. I was talking to a friend the other day about how sinister the cabal is. And even the 13 families are the lowest rung of the highest order on this earth. No one's ever even heard the names uttered, and they probably haven't been uttered out loud to anyone, these power structures. But they criminalized the plant medicines, but legalized their insane pharmaceutical industry.
mhm,
And it is our divine right to be in synonymous relationship with this earth. It is our
yeah,
divine right. And when we have how do you control a populace? You keep them afraid. But when
exactly.
you have plant medicines such as a psychedelic, or it's really psychedelics, cannabis is, even though you might not, but it's definitely when you have that psychedelic experience, you're like,
Yeah,
there, what?
There's so much more.
There's so much more. There's so much more. And then, like
Yeah.
all the prophets, even Muhammad. I mean, I say this in all complete respect for the
Yeah.
prophet.
Yeah.
I 100% believe he was on something when he has the vision and he leaves Jerusalem. I mean, all the prophets were on some sort of plant medicine to have those divine experiences. They just happened to write them down, and then everyone emulated the experience without understanding the process of being in that experience. And that knowledge and that gnosis has been kept from humanity, but it's fading.
Yeah.
And whether it's breath work, whether it's plant medicine, whether it's meditation, whether it's whatever form it may be, that overlord dictation of rights and wrongs, do's and don'ts, diagnosis of quote unquote problems of the mind, all that stuff's going away. And then you realize, oh, children that are a little amped up, yeah, you should be outside in nature, working and learning in the nature that you were divinely brought forth to be in.
I know. And it's so sad that what they are turning it into, because you look at the world now, all the children are just on their phone, they're stuck inside, they're like, I was in an Uber, I think this was a month ago, and just driving, and I passed a school, and all these children were playing outside, a beautiful sunny day, all wearing masks, and I started bawling my eyes out. I just couldn't handle it. I can't handle it. It's not right.
Yeah.
It's not right, but I'm so excited for what's coming. Yes. And yes. Where we're heading, because this is also just, we need this to happen for things to change. Yes. So if you look at it this way, without being so angry, in anger, like knowing what's going on and screaming your head off, trying to show right. to people, we need it to happen. Otherwise, we would have just been the same way. And for me, I can't say for you or for other people, but for me, this woke me up.
Yeah. Yeah.
This really, you start to realize, like, all the things that have been kept from us, yeah. And how we are being completely mind controlled.
Yes.
So
100%. And
yeah.
It's the story of, there's the Middle East, there's the Far East, there's the West, and there's this kind of convergence in the middle. But in the West, as far as the 20th century goes, you have Thomas Edison and you have Nikola Tesla, and those two are polarizingly different paths. And Thomas Edison was deep state, and he's revered as some great inventor, and he kept trying and failed and tried and failed, when really what he was doing was a patent troll. He suppressed Nikola Tesla. Westinghouse, thank God, helped Tesla, but there are 600 patents being suppressed by the United States government right now about free energy, Tesla's patents, all these things. And here, for my friends that don't really yet fully comprehend what's happening, Donald Trump's paternal uncle, John G. Trump, was the head of the FBI task force and he was the head of the MIT, some division at MIT. He was also the head of the FBI task force that took over Nikola Tesla's office and all his patents. So the Trump family has the access to the Tesla information. Donald Trump comes from a non-Catholic, truly a Protestant of the global Vatican line. The Bible he laid his hand on when he was sworn in as president, and the Bible he held in front of St. John's Church, is a Bible from a revival that broke out in a little island off Scotland, the Hebrides revival. And his aunt was a little girl at this revival. The cool thing about this revival, and this is a cool thing how God works, energy works, source works. No electricity back then, no phones, no like, hey, you got to come to this church. People came from the entire island and converged on this little church at once. and they were come from 6 hours away. They just felt this call. They're supposed to go to this church. And so the entire island converges on this church, and a revival broke out. It's incredible. And Donald Trump's great aunt, or his aunt, no, not his great aunt, his aunt, she was a little girl there. So that Bible is from that revival. So he lays his hands on that Bible, and then he holds it in front of St. John's Church, and everyone makes it political and this and that. Well, John wrote the book of Revelation. So that he's saying, this is the time of revelation. This is the awakening. None of this stuff is by accident. And I love the movie Donnie Brasco. I really like all mob movies, really, but no one looks at Donnie Brasco, who is an FBI agent, as a bad person, even though Donnie Brasco infiltrated the mob, spoke how the mob spoke, did what the mob did, even committed some of the crimes that the low crimes that the mob committed. He did that to take the mob down. Mm-hmm. And I think what Trump, and we're going to find out very soon, what business industry could you go around the world in but not have any ties to overhead except the properties that you build? It's a developer. He doesn't have overhead he's producing. He goes around the world. He learns every person, every group, everything. And then we're going to wake up very soon and the world is going to get flipped upside down.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. And I've been telling my friends who hate him, detach. He's the greatest gift for humanity because he's revealed what's in every person's heart. If you have hate in your heart, you might direct it at him, but you actually just have hate in your heart and it's time to heal. If you're afraid that, something, it's just because you have fear. It's okay. Let all these things come to the surface and
make peace with it. You have to make peace with your shadows. That's the only, it's not about, suppressing these emotions or suppressing that hate that you feel. It's acknowledging it and making peace with it and loving it for what it is so much more powerful than trying to just be like, no, you stay here. I don't want to experience you.
That's right.
And I really, really encourage anybody watching this to, if you hear the name Trump and you get triggered, just take a moment to ask yourself why. What do you know about him that's making you feel so triggered? Where is this belief coming from? Right. Is it just you watching things on TV or by watching celebrities talk about him and all these nighttime shows? Yeah. Or have you looked? You have a choice. You can look at a certain information and decide, hey, you know what? No, I still want to believe what I believe. Great. That's fine. But at least you owe yourself that. You owe yourself a chance to research and learn and then make a decision based on what you have read or what you know now.
Right.
So we all have a choice, and we really need to take our power back in understanding what this choice means.
Right.
And not be controlled by everybody else's opinion or mainstream media or celebrities or whatever else.
Right.
It's our choice.
Right. And that's our greatest gift is our choice, the power to choose, the universal law of free will. Yeah, I want to talk about so many things. It is, and it's beautiful too. I mean, think of this. For everyone listening, you're in Canada. Mm-hmm. But people in Canada are still triggered over why? Because this is a global, this is a human, this is the liberation of humanity. And when they figure out the Dominion voting systems in this country and all over the world, people don't understand this is not about the US president. This is not even about who's going to be in office next. This is about liberating humanity on this entire planet from the facade of freedom, the facade of choice, the facade of I can do what I want in my life, the facade of all these things, to actually stepping into when the deep state gets overthrown off this planet, the entire world will rejoice. I had this vision the other day. all of humanity will rejoice at one time on the planet, and it will be the celebration on the planet at once, and it will go and go and go and go. And people will, at one time, people will not sleep. Night and day will not mean anything. It will be one moment of time that we will celebrate our truest liberation. And I'm so excited.
Me too. You and I both, and
Oh,
we all deserve it. We all deserve it. And we're not the people fighting for the truth right now, and the people that think they are fighting for the truth right now, we're all fighting for the same thing. So
yes.
that's what we're all literally fighting for the same thing. And it's not that we are against you. We're fighting for you.
That's right.
We're speaking for you. We're protesting for you.
Yes.
And we're doing all this work. It's not just for us. It's for everybody.
That's
It's
right.
literally for everybody. And that's what people need to start to understand. We're
Yes.
not against each other. We're not.
Right.
We have to unite. We have to work together, and we have to come out of this together, and in more love, and just in harmony, and you know feeling that inner power that each and every one of us has.
Hmm.
We deserve it. We
Hmm.
really do. We really deserve it. And I also just wanted to mention, I know we're kind of coming close to our
Okay.
time,
Oh, it's okay.
but I really wanted to mention something that has helped me so much during my spiritual journey, which is a Tomorrow Today community in Toronto. Well, they're based out of Toronto, but they started their events in Jamaica, I believe, which I only got introduced to them this year when I met Stacy, and I did a Confidence Critics course. And what this community is about, it's conscious individuals that are there to help and support each other, to teach each other, to hold safe space for each other, and to unlearn and relearn
Hmm.
together.
Yes.
So I really, really encourage anyone listening to check out the community if you are looking to, just have a safe
What's it
space.
called again? What's it called?
Tomorrow Today.
Tomorrow Today.
Yes, I'll send it to you on
And then I'll
Instagram
put
as
the
well.
link, and I'll put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, I have to connect you guys because it would be really, really awesome to get you. We actually just finished a 4-day festival, and tonight we have like a conscious men's circle and conscious women's circle, but we did a 4-day festival. It was a virtual festival, and oh my god, the things that I learned, like you name it, it was there, from yoga, kundalini, meditation, business, sound bath, DJs, like everything was there. It was really, really beautiful. It's like I was sitting today and thinking about the things that I learned this weekend, and oh my god, it's so beautiful to learn.
Yeah,
It's so beautiful.
it
And
is
there's so
so
much to know,
good.
there's so much to know. And you don't know. There's something I learned from Stacy. You don't know what you don't know. So keeping your mind open to possibilities and opinions of others, and just kind of, you know, it's okay that if you disagree on something, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
It's not the end of the world, really. You
Right.
can just choose to leave it alone and go on about your life.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of learning different things, and really asking yourself, are you open-minded? Are you open-minded to know that maybe sometimes you're not open-minded, you
Hmm.
know? And yeah, so it's a really beautiful community, and
Hmm.
I'm so thankful for Stacy and Andrew. Thank you guys for putting this festival together, and yeah.
Wow.
I can't wait to introduce you to them too.
I can't wait to meet him. And
Yeah,
I'm so honored to have you on.
thank you so
And
much.
and I do sincerely mean congratulations on your freedom
Thank you. Thank you.
and having the courage to step into you and choose you, and to not be afraid of death anymore is the greatest life. It's the greatest life. It's the greatest life. And that is freedom. Because
Yeah.
then what what can be held over us? Nothing. And if nothing can be held over us, then we are truly free. And when we're truly free, that is when we can help others come out of that, be an invitation and say, come, come, just come. Let us sit together. Let us break bread together. Let us talk together. Let us hug together. Let us listen together. Let us sing together.
Yes.
It's incredibly beautiful. And yeah, just congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's been like, I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak my truth. And before this podcast, I told you, I was a little bit nervous because I've never done anything like this before. But being here today, this was probably one of the easiest conversations I've ever had. I'm so grateful for you and everything that you're doing. I truly, truly, truly believe that you are changing the world in so many levels, more than you can even imagine. Like I've been obsessed with watching the podcasts on your page. I love them, and it's so nice, to be able to get to know different people as well that are speaking on different topics, and just learning.
It's a beautiful tapestry. It's like I look at us all as like these facets of a diamond, and we can turn it upside down. We can let the light reflect and refract in different ways. And that's the beauty of humanity. And thank you for saying that. It's been interesting. I just want to share. Do you have to go? Are you in a hard stop?
No, I have like 10 more minutes, and then I have the women's circle after. That's okay.
But I've just been getting or seeking, or even for my own journey right now, like, all right, God, I just been desiring even more. And I feel like I've had a lot. And then I'm like, well, should I be satisfied or am I not? Like, where is this at? And I share that to just say thank you. It means a lot, because sometimes I put these things out and I don't know, like, I'm just doing it because I feel called, but it really means a lot. So thank you that you said that you come on, and thanks for your vulnerability and your courage to share your story. It's really beautiful.
Thank you so much, Lucas. It's been a wonderful time, and I hope we get a chance to do another podcast together and speak more. I would love that. You're so awesome.
And everyone, please go follow Nouran on Instagram. I'll put your handle in the show notes, and then the other group that you mentioned, I'll put that in the show notes. And sister, thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucas. Thank you for having me and for honoring me the way that you do. I truly honor you the same way. With so much love in my heart, and I'm so excited for everything that's coming our way. And we're just gonna keep holding that light and being in love and just radiating love. That's all.
That's right. Man, I am so thankful to have you on, sister. And please, everyone, go follow Nouran. I'll put her information and the link to that group in the show notes. So please listen to that. And thank you for listening to this podcast. I ask each and every one of you to share this podcast, promote it. This podcast is based on treating people like people and nothing less, to love one another, to walk in the divine love that you were intended to from the very beginning, to walk in love, to emit the light that resides inside you, and know that everything is going to be okay. Everything. Whether you agree or disagree, whether you get triggered or not, everything is going to be okay. It's our job to surrender. It's our job to choose to be the light, to choose to be the love, to choose to be the permission for other people to feel safe enough to take their masks off and simply just be, so that we can all feel that unconditional love and feel safe enough to bring our truth forth so we can experience freedom. It's beautiful. It's the Great Awakening. It's the Golden Rule Revolution. I'm Lucas Mack. Thank you. I look forward to talking with you on the next episode. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening. For support in your journey, go to my website, lucasmack.com.